Hello there, children. Let me find my... It's as tall as I can get. I'm sorry. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Gremlin Lord Live, episode 15, Feminine versus Masculine. Femininity versus Masculinity. Or, if you're just one of those people, Fem versus Masc. I will apologize for the sound of my air conditioner, but I cannot survive without it, so you're going to have to hear it. Sorry. We're also streaming in vertical mode this time because I am desperate to try to get some more traction for my channel, and when you stream vertically, it gets put into people's short feeds like how TikTok does, and hopefully somebody will pop in. That's the goal. So I keep looking at where the wrong place where the camera is. I'm not exactly sure. I don't remember where it is. I'm pretty sure it's near the green light. Okay. It is very warm. I am sweating. But that is life. So today's movies are 2 new movies and 2 older movies that focus on the juxtaposition of masculinity and femininity. Or at least what I believe that these movies represent. Keep looking at the X. Ha! So, what am I hearing in echo? Oh, because I have the video open in 2 different places. That's why. I don't need it live there. I need it live here. Thank you. So, those 4 movies are The Craft from 1996, Megan 2.0 from this year, 2025, F1 the movie from 2025, and RoboCop from 1987. So, obviously, Megan and The Craft are part of the femininity, and RoboCop and F1 are part of the masculinity. It's weird because you can't see my hands when I'm moving them as much, so it's going to be a little weird. But yeah. So, Prince, since you're the #1 fan, which one should we talk about first? Your choice. I have something written for all of them except for RoboCop that I literally just got done watching it like an hour ago, so I didn't write anything down. Megan. That is not how you spell her name. Just an FYI. And frankly, it's offensive. No, not at all. I'm super heterosexual. Super hetero. Love women, bruh. So we're going to talk about Megan 2. Take You Out to Dinner. Is the first movie, which came out June 27th, so very recent. Massive flop, which is actually pretty surprising. I am surprised that it didn't do any better. I mean, it came out in a fairly slow time. Just surprised that it didn't do well. I'm not saying it's like a fantastic movie or anything. I'm just saying I'm surprised that it didn't have more of a cult following. And some people say it's because it wasn't a horror film, but I didn't think the first one was very much of a horror film. I mean, it was rated PG-13. I did look, and apparently I gave the first one a 7 out of 10, which, looking back on it, feels a little high. I didn't think that would be something that I would give a 7 to. Yeah, I mean, so that's what, is it Jason Blum from Blumhouse? He said he feels they may have oversaturated the market in advertisements. So that's what he said. He feels that they did too much advertising. I mean, I don't watch a lot of TV, so I couldn't tell you what advertisements they show. Unless it's an ad on a streaming service, I don't know what's going on. So, let's see. Let's get a synopsis here, shall we? They wanted a horror. I feel the same way, but I feel like the first movie wasn't that much of a horror film either. I mean, yes, she's a killer robot. I don't know. I didn't think it was super horror-oriented. but I can see why it would be hard. 2 years after Megan's rampage, her creator Gemma resorts to resurrecting her infamous creation in order to take down Amelia, a military-grade weapon who was built by a defense contractor who stole Megan's underlying tech. Rated PG-13 again. Although it does feel like a pretty brutal PG-13 if I'm being honest. Oh yeah, this is definitely an action movie. 100%. And from just watching the trailer, it felt like a big leap in like sequential logic type of thing. But after watching it, I think it made sense. I mean, like I just read, the plans were stolen, another robot was created, and they needed to stop it. There's no like horror in it. I mean, there's little scenes where the new robot Amelia does things and she moves a little horrifyingly, but it's not horror. Ajera. That's a fun name. Ew, David. You can see the way I used to hang my flag around the roof. That's funny. But anywho, the woman who plays Amelia is Ivana Sakno. I don't know her from anything. She reminded me a lot of Okie dokie. So, multiple women and one man? You said women and a man? Isn't that polygamy? I don't really believe in polygamy like that, so I'm more of like a one woman, one man situation. But you can do what you like. If you want to have multiple women with one man, that's fine. Like I said, I don't know. She's in Ahsoka apparently. I didn't watch that. Doesn't look like she's in a bunch. I mean, she's been acting in TV shows and stuff since 2005. So good for her. To me, she looked like a mix of like Elizabeth Olsen and like Ella Fanning. And I think it's just like her big doe eyes. And she's kind of had like that, like a Scarlet Witch look about her type of thing. Especially with her darker hair. That's what I was feeling. I liked her a lot. But I mean, she's not... I mean, she's a robot, right? She doesn't have the personality that Megan has. She doesn't, like, crack one-liners like Megan does. Like, she's literally just, like, a weapon bot. She talks, but she always talks in, like, you know, join me and we could be one, and, like, you know, just very generic robotic lines. Well, shalom, Ajera. Shabbat shalom. So, but I did like her. Allison Williams is fine. She makes a lot of weird facial expressions. She is a Nepo baby. Her dad is like a really famous news anchor. I forget his first name, but his last name is Williams. To me, I thought she was going to be a bad guy because the way that she kept looking... Oh, she's the girl from Get Out, too. Duh. Because she always seemed to have, like, this evil twinkle in her eye. And I was waiting for it to come out that she was, like, one of the bad guys. I'm surprised. So, but no, so obviously the main cast returns. And Allison Williams, Violet McGraw, she plays Katie, which I didn't realize was C-A-D-Y, Katie. Like obviously she's older, the little girl's older, but it is still her. Let's go to my notes here. I'm sure you'd like it too, to be honest. it worked for me. I was in a theater alone. Nobody else was in there. Did it set up a sequel? Or I guess a trilogy? No, not specifically. I mean, they could always make another one though. Shiny. So I think it's possible that there'll be another one. But I with this budget, with this results of this one, I'm not optimistic they're gonna do any more. I mean, this movie did not do well at all. So I'm not optimistic that it's going to be another one. Sorry to get my face all close up to the camera there. Just lowering the light a bit so it's more forward facing. Either as a stream movie. True. It could be a stream movie. I just don't think that, like I said, it didn't do well at all. I mean, according to the numbers on IMDb, $25 million budget, $37 million gross. So $12 million difference, and that probably doesn't even include like advertising and all that stuff. So not great. But it is unfortunate because, again, just as a summer movie with, people not in school, I just figured it would probably do a little better. I just figured it would. Yeah, and I found she's much more likable in this one because she's, good, she's good because she's helping out things. I mean, she still has her little nasty streak, but I think that it works better for her character. So, that I enjoyed. Oh, let's see. There's quite a few twists and fake outs. I mean, you think something's going to be happening. I mean, I predicted who one of the bad people were going to be pretty early on, just from the way they were acting. And I mean, it might have been on purpose that way, but she's a warrior princess. For the most part, it looked good. I mean, action sequences I really liked. They had some really cool camera turns, like when she's fighting Amelia, and like if one of them flips over, the camera goes with them. So that was like a really cool effect, and I really enjoyed that. There's camp in it. It still has some campiness, right? There's music, there's dancing, like it's still all there. Still giving you some stuff from the first movie like that. So you don't gotta worry. If there's some singing, there's singing. There's dancing. Remember, I think she sings Titanium in the first movie. So I won't spoil for you what singing goes on in this one, but I will say some of the CGI, not great. That wingsuit section that they show in the trailer, not great. The wingsuit ends up looking like a trash bag, and you can really tell that they're just like moving the camera around like her, like on a rig. Like you could definitely see it. Does she still kill people? Yes, I believe, and not at first, because obviously she's remade, so she has a kind of like the Terminator, right? How John Connor gets a Terminator to not kill people, only to incapacitate people, kind of like that. Body count? I don't know. And usually IMDb has a body counter on there. They don't have one because I think a lot of the characters just get like knocked out. Because there's not a lot of guns and stuff in this movie because it is PG-13. I mean, people do die. Amelia kills people for sure, but like, there's a lot of necks going. So there's definitely that happening. I mean, countless nameless goons die. Obviously, it's a chick flick. Yeah, that's hence why it's part of the feminine category for tonight's stream. Right. Megan's face was more CGI this time. I was more lenient towards it. I know you and I discussed this before, Prince, about how her mouth doesn't sync up with her words and how that bothered me in the first one. But to be honest, at this point, it's fine because I get it that she's like a doll. And, you know, I had one of those dolls that read to you that looked like Chucky. You put the tape in his back and he would talk to you. And his mouth would just go up and down. It didn't follow the words. It makes sense. I mean, obviously, it's a lot more advanced than that. But it made sense that her lips didn't match. And once they showed, like, the schematics of her face, you know, there's no musculature. Would I like a third one? I'd go see it. I'd go see it. I don't know what they would do for a third movie, but I'd go see it. I mean, with my Regal Unlimited pass, I could see as many movies as I like. Please sponsor me, Regal. Thank you. There were some unrealistic things, of course. I mean, obviously the whole thing's unrealistic, but some parts didn't make much sense. I will say that I found the story to be a bit more poignant than other people may find it. I mean, especially considering where we're going as a society with AI and the idea that these characters are so like gung-ho about using AI for their own specific like desires, and the way we see it happening. I mean, it's not like in your face like AI is bad. It's just, you know, it's the idea of rich conglomerates in the military using AI and robots to execute their espionage and stuff like that. It's stuff you've seen before, you know. But it is important now because we're in the... I know, right? I'm not ready for that. Because we are in the moments of AI. Everything is AI, either whether it's actually AI or not. Everything is now being forced upon us as AI. And it's really unfortunate. I mean, we're now starting to get the Grok AI, which is hugely anti-Semitic, as we saw recently. And they now have a $200 million contract with the United States military. So that's going to be fun, having Twitter AI run our military stuff. So that's cool. And of course you have OpenAI and ChatGPT and all these people who just use it for everything, even though it's literally draining our freshwater sources to nothing and violently polluting the air. Yeah, it's a big problem, and I wish more people cared about it. Like, I get AI's uses, and I think it's good for things, but you don't need it to ask ChatGPT to how do I bake bread. You don't have to ask it to how to bake bread. You don't need to ask Google Gemini, you know, how do I turn on this grill? Like the commercial shows. Like, read the fucking sorry, this is YouTube. Read the manual to learn how to turn on the grill, okay? Look at me, I'm getting all flustered here. Getting fired up about AI. But it's true though. People use it for all kinds of things. And my brother used it for my dad's obituary. And I'm like, why? Does he kind of feel like writing it? Then don't write one. Like, why are you using AI for everything? Like, they used AI to help extrapolate the last Beatles song, Now and Then. To extrapolate John Lennon's voice from the audio tape that he recorded it on, because there was a bunch of noise in the window because he lived in New York and all that stuff. Like, they used AI for that, and that's to me that's fine because you're using it to preserve art and you're using it for a purpose. But using it for nothing, like everyday things, is just silly. It's dumb. It's pointless. Like, we as common folk don't need to use AI like that. And the fact that Bing shoves AI in every search is super annoying. But I digress. So I think there's a lot of nice warning about AI in Making 2. But nothing you haven't seen before. I mean, obviously, like Terminator, Skynet, you know, things like that are always part of science fiction. We've been talking about it for decades upon decades, and we're still rushing towards that future no matter what. There's even a law or an amendment in the big beautiful bill that would have banned all legislation for 10 years regulating AI, including the legislation that already passed. So if your state already passed laws restricting AI, they would be null and void. But luckily that amendment did not make it into the bill, but they were trying to, which is a problem. But yeah. So I'm really not sure why it flopped. I feel like the fans that made Megan 1 so popular just didn't show up for Megan 2. And let's look at Megan 1's statistics. So Megan 1 was on a budget of $12 million. Okay? It made $180 million. That's really good. Megan 1 came out in January. Actually, January 6th, to be more specific. And then obviously Megan 2 came out June 27th. So they increased the budget by $13 million, and it made $120 less. I would think that it would be a good summer movie. That would be my opinion, but apparently it's not. So that I find to be very interesting. So originally I was thinking about how I'm going to rate this movie, and I was leaning towards a 7, which I now see that's what I gave the first movie, which I didn't realize that's what I gave the first movie, because I enjoyed this one, I feel, more than the first one. I think it was more entertaining to me, and I laughed more. I don't know. I feel like I liked it more. So. I feel like a 7 is fine. But I'm gonna bump it up to a 7 and a half. Because I did enjoy it more than the first one. I don't remember the first one a bunch. I know I was disappointed with it a bit. You know. I think this one really comes into its own. And I really feel like they like Megan is the character that you now know. Like she was sassy in the first one, and then now like this is who Megan is, and I think it works really well. Like I said, I'm not sure they're gonna make a third one. I don't know where they would go with it, unless now there's a big army of other robots. But I honestly don't know. There was one part where Katie was holding this glass ball. And it reminded me of the glass ball, like Nightlight from the Boogeyman. And in my head, I was like, oh my god. In my head, I thought she was the girl from Boogeyman. And I thought, oh my god, it's so funny. She's holding the glass ball. Like, it's not her. She's not the same actress from Boogeyman. But it was the same, like, glass ball Nightlight. So, yeah, $37 million. Crazy. Crazy. I can't believe it, guys. It made $10 million in its opening weekend, which is good. I mean, maybe not that good. I mean, Superman's a much bigger movie, so I'm not going to compare it to Superman. But yeah, Megan, 7. How's that? How's that grab you? Hope it grabs you real nice. Oh, Prince Fumio's number 2 fan. Ouch. Ouch. Grabs me real good. Okay. I don't know. Somebody has more than you, my man. So we're going to skip to a masculine choice now. I know you're number 2 right now. Sorry. According to the chart, Ajara is number 1. Sorry. Although it says you both have the same amount of XP. So, I don't know. I'm going to jump to F1 because I want to do a little back and forth here. I'm not going to just do all Fem, and all Masc, okay? You're restarting. I don't think you should do that. I think you gain XP for continuously watching. So F1 or F1 the movie stars Brad Pitt, as we all know. F1 the movie. F1 the movie, I guess, is the official title. Directed by Joseph Kosinski, who's the same guy who did Top Gun Maverick. Testing. 1, 2, 1, 2. Also stars Damson Idris, Javier Bardem, as we all know, and Carrie Condon, whose name sounds super familiar. I looked her up and I didn't recognize her from anything else, but her name is really familiar to me, which I thought was interesting. Now, obviously, this was a movie. Oh, Megan was 2 hours long, and I say that because I was surprised by how long these movies were. Because F1 is 2 hours and 35 minutes. Again, much longer than I thought it was going to do. Up here, let's get your description. After a nasty accident almost ended his career, Sonny Hayes retired from Formula One and now races a Porsche. What? When an opportunity comes from the owner of a struggling team, Sonny makes a return to Formula One racing alongside a hot new rookie teammate, but soon realizes that he can't take the road to redemption on his own. Rated PG-13. PG-13, not rated R. It doesn't need to be rated R. I mean, the only thing that would be rated R if they curse more in it. There's obviously no violence and gore and stuff like that. And it's very long, and I didn't realize it was that long while I was watching it. But the more it kept going from race to race to race, and I was just like, how many more races are there? You know, I was very surprised. Obviously it's not a movie I'm really into originally because it's racing, and I don't care about racing, and I don't care about sports that much, because most sports movies are generic copy-paste, paint by the numbers type of films, where you have the character who struggles. Is it based on the game? It's not based on the game, no. It's based on F1 racing. The game F1 is based on real life. You can't see my hand because it's out of frame. I'm not used to that. Gran Turismo, or Turismo, that was a movie that came out last year, the year before, and that was like kind of based on the game. I think that had direct connections to PlayStation, I believe, where the kid was like a master at the simulator or something, and so they give him a chance to drive the real cars or something. I didn't see that obviously either. This is based on F1, Formula One, which is what Vetter watches. Vetter enjoys Formula One racing. So, oh, the air conditioner turned off. Enjoy the silence while you can. But yeah, so the trailer shows you, basically the story. You got Brad Pitt playing Sonny Hayes, who is kind of a washed-up driver who gets a second chance at joining F1 at his ripe old age of whatever. They didn't actually say how old he was. At least I don't think they did. And he's brought on to help kind of train and race with the new hot-headed young guy. And, as the trailer shows, they butt heads, they become friends, they butt heads, they become friends, and then there's the big race. I mean, if you're not familiar with racing seasons, there's a bunch of Grand Prix, and you have qualifying, and it picks your position where you start, and then you have the race, and there's all different types of races on different tracks around different countries, and they do travel to all those countries. They do travel to all of them. They race. I don't know if they race on all the tracks. I was looking at the IMDb stuff. They do race on a lot of the tracks, though. So it is very much like an F1 movie. Like they really get into F1 stuff. But as I said, I'm not an F1 fan. So an F1 fan might get more out of this movie than I did. Or they might get less out of the movie if they feel like it's not portraying things realistically. There is an IMDb tidbit that says that something that happens in a movie would have gotten them disqualified in real F1. So you got to take it with a bit of a grain of salt. I will defer to people who are bigger F1 fans than myself. But in the scheme of the movie, it made sense. I was actually surprised, to be honest, at some of the things they were doing that wasn't getting them disqualified. And I was like, this has to get them disqualified. It didn't. But it should have been. Brad Pitt looks good. You know, he looks good. His facelift is doing what it's supposed to be doing. He is pushing 60, and I believe Vetter he complained a lot about the idea of them hiring a 60-year-old driver to drive the Formula One cars, and that is actually brought up in the film by Javier Bardem's character. What's his name? Ruben. He actually brings it up and talks about the oldest people who've driven Formula One. So they do address it better if you're watching this. They do. And they actually bring up the real people that you mentioned to me before. So that is a thing. But they pick him anyway, so he drives. Where are my notes? I lost it. I'm lost in the sauce here. There it is. I will say that, so the other main guy is Damson Idris, who plays Joshua Pierce, or JP. He is only 4 years younger than me, but they're trying to make him seem like he's like 21 or something. I mean, he's young looking. I didn't realize he was that old, though, because the woman who plays his mother is my age. So you have mother and son, and they're only 4 years apart, the actors playing them, which is insane to me. I mean, it's kind of like the Golden Girls, how Sophia, I'm not using a Golden Girls cup, how Sophia was the mother to B. Arthur's character, Dorothy, and they were close in age. So it's similar to that, but different, because this would be like me playing the father character to somebody 4 years younger than me. That'd be really weird. They definitely made her look more matronly. And I wonder if she was just like, I guess I'll take this role, even though you're going to make me a mom. Because to be honest, I thought she was going to be like 40s, 50s. And she's not. She's my age. And it's not that she looks old. Like, they made her look older. Like, her haircut looked like an older lady type of thing. The clothes she wore was more older lady, you know. It was odd. I know that has nothing to do with the movie. I thought that was an interesting tidbit. Visually, I really liked the movie. I thought they did a great job of capturing what I think it would be like to drive an F1 vehicle. They have these special cameras that are like 10 by 10 centimeters attached to the cars. So you get the driver's face and you also get the front of the car while driving. So I thought that was really cool. There's a lot of cool visuals with that. They did a really good job of following the action of the race. You know how if you play a racing game, you get like a cinematic camera? Kind of like that. They did a really good job of following it. And Brad Pitt and Damson Idris both do their own driving in their own scenes that are them specifically driving, like where it shows them. So, and they were driving up to 180 miles per hour. So there's that. Because Brad Pitt, he does enjoy racing cars and stuff. So obviously he wasn't driving everything. But in some scenes, in the scenes where you could see them, they were driving. This is a mixture of Walmart Twist Up and Starry, because I still had my movie soda, which has been like a week, actually even longer than a week, mixed in with it, and some cranberry flavored liquid. Just a splash. But I was entertained. I wasn't expecting to be as entertained as I was. I wasn't on the edge of my seat or anything like, oh my god, are they going to win? No. But I was entertained by the film. Like, I wasn't bored. I wasn't falling asleep. I wasn't rolling my eyes. I was enjoying the movie. So, I will give them that. There is, like I said, I was the only one in the theater again for F1, so just me. I laughed a couple times. I did laugh a couple times. Carrie Condon's character, Kate McKenna, she was Irish, and I really liked her because she was like a no nonsense type of person, and the way she would talk to Brad Pitt's character was super hilarious. Oh no, very true. I wouldn't have watched it either, but I was like, you know what? It's a masculine movie. Let me watch it. I liked her a lot. She cracked me up because and they show in the trailer where she mentions, "You think you're some rough and tumble cowboy," and she dressed him down hard. And he's just like, I didn't really mean that kind of honesty, actually. There is a forced romance in there though, which is unfortunate. I'd rather them not have a romance, but it's whatever. The movie does play as you would expect it to play out. The acting is good in it. There's nothing Oscar worthy or anything like that, I'm not expecting to be nominated for anything. Maybe sound design or visuals, but definitely not acting. There's no crazy acting. The music. So the opening of the movie, I'll spoil this for you. Spoiler Gremlin. The opening song was Whole Lotta Love by Led Zeppelin. And they played most of the song. And I like that song. So I got to sit there and sing along to it in the movie theater alone. And it reminded me of when I went to go see the Led Zeppelin documentary, Becoming Led Zeppelin. So, but I was just like, nice. I'm just sitting there, The rest of the music I didn't recognize as much, so I didn't really get to sing along. It was fitting. Actually, and Hans Zimmer, the Hans Zimmer, does the score for this movie. And he did a mix of classical type of music with more modern synths and stuff like that. So I think it worked really well. He might get something for that performance. Who knows? But yeah, when I saw Hans Zimmer, I was like, I didn't realize Hans Zimmer was doing the score for this. Huh. How about that? Let's see. Action, close up with the drivers, the anachronisms, we talked about that already. I did recognize some of the racetracks from playing Forza, so I felt a little intelligent there. I was like, "Ooh, I know this track. Ooh, I know this track from playing Forza." They go to Abu Dhabi. I think the finale's in Abu Dhabi, and I was like, "I've raced this track before." Yeah, it's driving in my Lamborghini. I'm a Lamborghini. But yeah, so I thought that was a fun thing for me to recognize myself. I mean, obviously I didn't drive them in real life. And they mentioned Le Mans and stuff like that, which is another track I've driven in the game. So I like that. It put me into the movie a bit more. I talked about them skirting penalties and stuff like that. Yeah. There were some tactics they used which I didn't even think about when I was watching it, that you could do. Because in Formula One, you have two people on a team. So, you know, you have Brad Pitt and JP, like they're a team, and then the other team has these two people, and the other team, like, it's a 2-2-2-2-2. So you try to work together to, you know, block people, because as long as your team wins, you win. Hey, T1AJ, we're talking about the super masculine movie, F1 right now. We already talked about Megan 2, now we're doing F1. So that's why we're like super muscular right now, like F1, yeah, bro. This film's budget is insane. I feel like it would have to be insane, but its budget was $200 million. It was rumored to be $300 million, which is absolutely bonkers. But it is, they said it was closer to 200, which is a huge budget. This is an Apple film, okay? Apple loves to throw money at movies. That's what Apple does. In fact, Brad Pitt's paycheck from this movie was $30 million, the biggest paycheck of his entire career. The nearly 60-year-old Brad Pitt was for this movie. $30 million. I thought that was a really crazy thing. This was his biggest paycheck. Let's see. I don't know if you've heard Brad Pitt recently. I haven't heard him outside of a movie, and I haven't really seen him in many movies. But his voice in this was really weird. I don't know if that's how he sounds now, because now that he's older, I don't know. I need to try to find him talking just generally. But his voice sounded like kind of fake to me. Like he had a bit of a southern twang. I think he is like from somewhere in the south. I don't know. But it felt kind of forced vocal fry kind of thing. I don't know. It sounded really weird to me. I'd have to look it up. But he's not as grizzled anymore since he had his facelift. So, but yeah, so the budget, $200 million. And it makes sense because this is like a licensed movie for F1. Like they have all the real teams in there with the real cars. Well, maybe not real cars, but with the cars, with the real drivers are in it. You know, like Lewis Hamilton's in it, Verstappen's in it, Verstappen. One of those. I don't know. Verstappen, I think. Like they're in the movie. Lewis Hamilton's actually one of the producers of the movie. And he was like a hands-on kind of guy. So and like the cars have what they call the liveries, like all the advertisements. So you have like the Red Bull team, and you have like the cryptocurrency and all that stuff. So it is actually a lot of advertisements and product placements in this film because I mean that's what F1 is. F1 is sponsored to the gills with stuff. So it makes sense. Like they refer to the teams as the Red Bull team. Like that's the team. And it's like the energy drink? Yes, the energy drink. So I mean, you got a lot of licensing to do with that. I mean, granted, they do pay you a little bit to advertise their stuff, and they do talk when you talk about their stuff. None of the racers were put in a negative light besides the fake racers, so that was part of their thing. It's apparently the film was filmed in 2023 and 2024 seasons, so there is some issues with sponsorships changing. So sometimes the cars will have certain sponsors, and other times the cars won't have those sponsors because they've changed in that season. But I didn't notice that because I don't care. But yeah, so $200 million budget, and it's made just under $400 million. So that would be considered a flop. That it didn't even make its budget twice back. Opening weekend was 57 million. So that's good. The same weekend. This came out the same weekend as Megan 2. So while Megan 2 made like $10 million, this made over 5 times that amount. again, I enjoyed the film despite not liking sports or racing. You know, it reminds me of the golf movie that I watched for the mystery movie. Like, that was an enjoyable movie to watch, but it was still very paint by the numbers, sports underdog tale. So I enjoyed it, but it's not groundbreaking or, you know, a revelation in film. Just like this, which you wouldn't expect it to be. I wish I saw this with Vetter, because I would really want him to talk about it. Although I don't know if I could handle him talking to me about it in the theater. So maybe he can watch it on the side and then tell me what he thinks about it. I know he's probably not. I mean, because I think that all the driving stuff is really cool and really good. Like, that whole aspect of it was really well done. So that I really liked. Obviously, the things with the penalty flags and all that jazz, that's going to be probably something that he would pick apart. I did think about that a lot while watching this. I could hear him in my ear. Brad Pitt's too old. Brad Pitt's too old. And they do play up on that. Okay, he's not like some Superman. Okay, he is his age in this film. Well, they don't tell his age, but he is, you know, elderly in the film. So they don't pretend that he's Superman and he's, you know, the best driver in the world, driving like he's 20 years younger. Like, they don't do that. He just has the experience that the other guy doesn't have. The 34-year-old guy who's playing a 20-some-year-old. So, I just think it's so crazy that it didn't do that well. It is Apple's biggest budget film, and it is Apple's highest grossing film. So that'll be on Apple TV, I'm sure. It's still playing in my theater, though. Even next week, it's still playing in my theater. So, there's still time to check it out, Prince. Want to go see a shirtless Brad Pitt with really bad tattoos. I hope those aren't his real tattoos, because they did not look good. It's sitting at a 7.9 on IMDb, so it's sitting there pretty well. There is one thing on a more personal note about this movie that kind of hit me, was that when Brad Pitt was wearing his helmet, his eyes reminded me of my dad's eyes. And not to get, like, sappy or anything. You know, because my dad had blue eyes as well. And my dad was a younger looking guy. Like, you know, similar to me. And his eyes would, like, glass over in the movie because, like, when he's, like, you know, straining or whatever like that. And my dad always had, like, glassy eyes because he had a tear thing. So it was just, like, it was odd because I was, like, watching it and I just kept getting, like, weird little tings in my head of, like, seeing my dad, like, in that scene, which was really odd. So it's just it's a more, you probably won't see that because you don't know my dad's eyes. So. But that was one, because I mean, the last couple times I saw him before he passed away, I would see, you know, I would look into his eyes because his, you know, that was the only thing that was open when he was in hospice. So, but yeah, it just kind of hit me in a way that I was like, huh. And I, you know, kind of get you the feelings there and everything like that. But other than that, it was an entertaining movie. Like, it was entertaining. I think that it's fine. Like I said, I never would have watched it otherwise. I mean, I'm fine with watching it, though. It is predictable. It is standard. I mean, the stakes do feel a little lower because you know that the team that you're following is going to be the team that wins it all. I didn't know who was going to win the race. It was going to be Brad Pitt or JP. I didn't know who was going to win it. But you knew that the team was going to win it because that's what the movie's about. So, not a startling revelation there. As for rating, I'm going to give it a 6.5. Yes, less than Megan 2. Only because, like I said, the story is predictable. Right? It was entertaining. I wasn't like blown away. I think maybe in like IMAX this probably would be a much crazier experience because the sound and the visuals would probably be like, you know, in your face and you'd feel it. I think like 40x would be way too much. You'd be rumbling and shaking and doing the turns and all that. That'd be insane. So that I don't have that anyway. So I don't have to worry about that. I only have we have real 3D at my theater, and that's it. I want to shake. I want to rumble. Well, go watch F1 in 40x, man. Go spend your $28 and see Brad Pitt's facelift in high definition. It's inconceivable. There's no nudity. Just shirtless Brad Pitt and shirtless the other guy. Damson Idris. And then of course they don't actually show you any of the lovemaking. They make out in the camera things. But yeah, that is F1. Yeah, 6.5. No male nudity. I need more male nudity in my movies. I need male nudity in my films. I mean, how are you going to have Oh Hi and not have any male butt? I'm assuming Logan Lerman just didn't want to show his butt, which is fine. He's allowed to not show his butt. That is his personal preference. No pressure. But yeah, so like I said, that's a 2-hour and 35-minute movie. Long. True. Maybe they did and he had a dingleberries. They had to cut it out. That's true. That's true. Now, The Craft is only an hour and 41 minutes. A short one. The Craft was released May 3rd, 1996, and it was rated R, actually. I didn't realize it was rated R when I was watching it. I thought it was PG-13. A young girl new to a Catholic school befriends a coven of witches, whom the other students either shun or fear. When a powerful invocation goes wrong, the consequences could endanger their lives. Rated R. Now, obviously, this is a film that somebody in the community kept bugging me about for years. And then they bought me a copy of it for my birthday. So here it is here. Ladies, yes, look at that. Oh, wow, Moira, it's pretty nice. I will say, now, I'm not looking at gift horse in the mouth, okay? I gladly add this to my collection. But I will say the audio quality on this was not good. It was not good. I did have captions on, but it was so hard to hear everything in the movie. Like, I had my TV turned up really loud, and still the dialogue would be lower than the music, and then it would switch. And I think it's also partly the movie's age, but also when they do, what is it called when they re-record lines? Like, things like that put into the movie, like those always have a different sound quality. And I don't think that it transferred well that way. I did end up trying to use my headphones, because I watched it on my Xbox. So I did put my headphones on and hopefully that would fix it. It got a little better, but it was still rough to try to listen to it. I still enjoyed it, but yes, maybe in the future when if I see it on sale in like a Blu-ray or something, I can upgrade it. But still treasure this one as a gift from the community of Prince William. So don't worry, it's not going anywhere. It's still here. Hold on to it to the day that I die. But yes, the audio quality was not a good transfer for them. So And it's a special edition. I did not watch any special features because I do not have the time. I do plan on it though. I usually try to watch the deleted scenes always, because I'm always wanting to see what things didn't make it in the movie. I didn't watch it because I wanted to. Why didn't I watch them? Oh, I just didn't have time. Because there's 3 deleted scenes, talent files. The menus are really fun. It was definitely a throwback to when DVDs had interactive menus. This has that. It's like a spell ring, and each one of the runes is a different thing, and you click on it, and it goes whoosh, you know. It's very, very fun. Because a lot of DVDs nowadays are very stagnant in their menus. And I get it. DVDs aren't like a big draw anymore, but I like the menus in this. I mean, you find that a lot in the older movies. You get fun DVD menus. Let's see. I did know the general premise of the movie before watching it, you know, witches and all that stuff. I knew certain scenes already just from pop culture references. But I liked it. I like the cast. You have Robin Tooney plays Sarah, the new girl who comes from the other school. She did wear a wig that, in my opinion, wasn't a great wig. But maybe it's just because I knew it was a wig, and that's why I thought it was not a great wig. Wig. Fairuza Balk, obviously. She plays Nancy. You're sorry? Yeah, her. Obviously, she plays the role perfectly. I mean, she has that crazy look. I'm looking at a picture of her right now on IMDb, and she has like her natural brown hair. She looks crazy beautiful, actually. Neve Campbell. I actually haven't seen Neve Campbell in a lot of things, so this is actually interesting for me to see her in this. And I think she's probably my least favorite cast member. I felt like her acting was a little off. I know this is like one of her earliest roles, like of her entire career, so she hasn't really come into her own kind of thing. But yeah, Bonnie. She doesn't even have a last name on IMDb. I do have the Scream set, which has also Neve Campbell, so we'll be watching that at some point. Which Scream 1 came out the same year as The Craft. Crazy. So Skeet Ulrich and Neve Campbell have 2 movies together that come out in the same year. It's pretty crazy. And then Rachel True plays Rochelle. I don't recognize Rachel True from anything. I said that right. I don't recognize her from anything else, which is crazy because, I mean, one, she's really pretty, and I liked her acting. So I was actually like, huh. To be honest, I was expecting her role to be small since I didn't recognize her from anything else. She wasn't half-baked. As I say, it looked like a lot of TV shows. She was in Sharknado, Heart of Sharkness. She has a 2.8 rating. So there's that. And we already said Skeet Ulrich is in it. He was a pretty cutie patootie in this. Christine Taylor, Marsha. She was good. I mean, obviously, she basically was kind of like Marsha in this movie. So there's that. Breckin Meyer. Brenda Strong, I recognized. That's pretty much everybody. This movie only has a 6.5 on IMDb. Oof. That's less than F1. Can you believe it? But yeah, Robin Tooney was wearing a wig because she shaved her head for Empire Records, which came out the year before. So she did not have any hair on her head. Let's see. Anyway, the main cast all kind of felt like their own people. Like they did give them each their own screen time. You are number 1 now. Look at that. See? The other person must have left. They must have gotten sick of me. You now have 125 XP. Congratulations. Now you can leave. Just kidding. But yeah, so they gave each person their own little backstories and their own little screen time and stuff, which I really liked. It did slow down the pacing a little bit because it felt like there was a lot of build up with some of the witchcraft stuff, and then we would take a break and go to Bonnie's doctor's appointment, and then we would take a break and do swim practice with I don't remember her name. Was it Rachel? Rochelle. So I did like that. Those little side things. Rochelle, yeah. Rochelle. So I thought that was really nice. And I like that Rochelle had side story as well. Because, these type of films, it's the 90s, there's a lot of racism, and, usually parts of non-white characters gets cut out. That's what I didn't mention about F1. Gosh darn it. In F1, we're going to do a loop-de-loop back here. Just real quick. In F1, there's an actress named... Where are you? Simone Ashley, who apparently played JP, the main character, his girlfriend in the movie. And she, was out promoting the movie. She was going to premieres. She was doing the press junkets. And then they told her, right before the movie came out, that she was completely cut from the film. And I don't mean just her storyline. I mean, she's not in the movie. Like, she's not in the movie at all. Like, he's single in the movie. He has no girlfriend in the movie. And I know that's like a Hollywood thing, and I just couldn't imagine. I mean, obviously she still gets paid and everything, but like, you wouldn't get royalties, I don't think, because you're not in the movie. And to think that like you spend months filming stuff and doing all this stuff, and then was she supposed to drive too? I didn't know that. And then to find out that like a week before it's released, after you just got done doing all these press junkets, that you were cut from the film, like, that's insane to me. And then when people say, "Oh, what have you been in?" You'd say, "Oh, well, I was in F1 before they cut it." And then there's some controversy around it because she's a woman of color, and apparently that director cut a lot of Manny Jacinto's parts from Top Gun Maverick as well, another person of color, and people were just like, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that's what people are saying. Other people are saying it, and he might be a little racist. I'm not saying that. Plus, we need more Manny Jacinto because he's hot. So, we should not be cutting him from anything. Thank you. Anyway, back to the craft. So I was happy that Rochelle had these parts and they weren't cut out. Like, she was part of the team, which I liked. Where's craft? Craft. There you are. It's kind of hard to judge the CGI in this movie, only because I don't know if it was good CGI back in the 90s, and it just looks not great now because it's, 3 decades later. Prince, I said that. I feel like you're not listening to me. God. I mean, there was nothing, like, awful. I wasn't, like, I'm not holding it against it or anything. Like, a lot of it looked good. Like, I enjoyed it. Like, the weather stuff and seeing her on the beach and all that. Like, I enjoyed it. I really like that in the finale of the film, not a spoiler, there's a lot of creatures. Like, there's a lot of bugs, all kinds of bugs. There's roaches and maggots and spiders and all kinds of insecty type of things. There's rats, there's all kinds of snakes. And like, that's real horrifying for people who don't like snakes. Yeah, you don't like snakes. How are you gonna say this is one of your favorite films and it has a bunch of snakes in it? But no, yeah. But I liked it because they were all practical. I mean, obviously they probably don't have the CGI for that. But I really liked that the way it looked. It was very practical. And I feel like a lot of movies are missing that nowadays because it's easier to just do a CGI bugs than it is to, wrangle up a bunch of hissing cockroaches. So, yeah, the homeless guy with the snake, I didn't really understand him, what he was supposed to represent, if he was like sensitive to their witchcraft or something. I thought he was like a groundskeeper first for the house because he appears at the house, but he does get his head run over, which I don't know how he's going to recover from that, but okay. But I really liked the practical effects of that, of having all the and it was there was a lot of it, like snakes on the stairs and things in the toilet and the sink and the walls and this and that, and I was just like, all right, I like this. That's a horrifying thing for people who don't like that. I don't like that stuff in real life, so I'd be pretty horrified about it. Scariest part of the movie, the man. Men. Let's see. I did like creative choices at the end of the film. This is a little bit of... This is spoiler. Okay. I like the usage of snakes and snake fingers was cool. Like, and snakes in the hair was cool. I like that. I thought that was really fun. And still looked pretty good. I thought it was well done. Okay. Whoa, Prince. I didn't say who had it. Let's keep the spoilers to a minimum there. Oh, there's my sound quality. Yeah. But no, yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought it was... Like I said, the pacing was a little off, in my opinion. But... I did... Oh, Skeet Ulrich's character's name is Chris Hooker. Yikes. He was indeed sorry. Sorry. What a jerk. I felt a little bad for him, to be honest. I mean, he was a jerk. I agree. But then once the spell took over, I felt bad for him. Because, they were basically doing to him what he did to them. Forcing him into something he didn't want to do. So, that's a play on like sexual assault right there. Showing you that two wrongs don't make a right. Well, not a play on it, I guess. Because he was exactly at the cost of magic. So I think that was a really good little thing. This is rated R. That's true. I've cast many love spells in my time as a witch, and it's never worked at all. I did like all the lore. They did throw a lot of Wiccan lore in there. Obviously, not obviously, but the god that they worship, Manon, is not a real Wiccan god. It's something they made up. This is my femininity with my masculinity. That's the theme of the night. You're getting a themed costume in my YouTube live. Plus it's hot. That's why I'm wearing a tank top. But I liked all the lore. I liked the storekeeper because she helped relay the lore to us. That was nice. The music, like the music in Empire Records, is not all to my taste. I do feel like that 90s movies had a really big focus on music. And I think it's like a business decision to like have these things intertwined so much to get people to want to buy the soundtracks. you know, because soundtracks were a big deal. Like artists would make songs specifically for it still happens today. They make songs for soundtracks. But, you know, people were buying movie soundtracks for that purpose. So, I mean, I recognize some of the songs, but again, it's not a lot of songs that I knew. I mean, I recognize the Charmed theme song, How Soon Is Now. So that was funny. And I know that apparently the creator of this said that Charmed ripped them off, which I thought was funny too. Light as a feather, stiff as a board. Light as a feather. I thought it was crazy that the girl in the movie didn't know what that was, but I knew what that was as a kid. And I guess maybe I knew it because of The Craft, maybe. I don't know. But we knew about that as kids. We tried doing it. It never worked, but I knew about it. So, I don't know. But yeah, so The Craft. I mean, overall, like I said, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good experience, Prince. The needle scene wasn't. I don't like needles, but to be honest, it didn't faze me at all. Because it didn't look like it was piercing her. To be honest, it looked kind of fake, so it didn't bother me. The way that it was like poking her, it didn't bother me at all. There was a Beatles song in it that was covered by somebody else. That's what Tomorrow Never Knows. And I was listening to the lyrics and I was just like, I know these lyrics. So I started like saying it. I'm like, this is a Beatles song. It was a cover by Our Lady Peace, whoever that is. But this movie was also a failure. There seems to be a trend here of movies not doing well in this video, guys. It had a box office budget of about $15 million, but only grossed 24. That's crazy. It's only a $9 million difference, not even doubling the budget. Obviously, it has a big following now. I mean, you got Prince still talking about it 30 years later. So it definitely still has a big following. Do I need to see the second one now? Or is there a TV show? Yeah, I'm surprised it didn't do super well. I mean, considering how popular Charmed was afterwards, it's crazy that this wasn't super popular. So, yeah, it was a legacy or something like that. Yeah, Nancy's in that one apparently. So there's that. The Craft Legacy. Yeah, it has a 4.6. I don't need to know anything about that one. So, rating for the 1996 movie The Craft. The rating for that, in my notes, I have it as an 8. Because the movie 8, Queen, yes. This is our femme movie, guys. This is our other femme movie. Because it is girl power. I'll be honest, the sound quality really bugged me while watching it. And that's not necessarily the movie's fault. That is probably the transfer of it. I mean, this DVD was printed in the year 2000. So that is a 25-year-old DVD. But it's not. You don't have to be sorry for it. The same thing happened with like the Denzel Washington movie I watched, Fallen. It's the same thing because that movie's not super old, but the movie's older and the DVD is older, so the technology is older. So the transfer from the film to the DVD is, not there, which makes me nervous about Scream, because I mean the years on this as well. Well, this is 2020. This was made, so this might be a little better. But anyway, you quote it. You quote it all the time. I mean, I quote the sorry part all the time. There was a line from, I mentioned this in T1BG's Discord. Somebody posted like failed video game memes, and it was the guy from RoboCop, which I didn't talk about yet, so I don't have to tell you the story yet, but I will. And there was a line in it that he said, B word leave. I know, I've seen WandaVision. I know. WandaVision. But yes, that's going to be an 8 for The Craft. Now, I didn't do... That's going to bring us to our final movie here. We're getting a little long in the tooth here. The final movie that came out July 19th, just 2 days away from now. It would be its 38th anniversary, because it came out on July 19th, 1987. Ooh. And that is RoboCop. In a violent future in old Detroit, murder police officer Alex Murphy is resurrected as RoboCop, a powerful cyborg law enforcer. As he fights crime, he begins to recover memories of his past and seeks revenge on the gang who killed him. Rated R for sure. It's listed as a dark comedy. I'm not so sure it's comical, but okay. Now, I know about RoboCop. RoboCop's not something new to me. I think I didn't watch some of the cartoon as a kid. Like, I know RoboCop. I think I might have a RoboCop toy at one point. Like, I know RoboCop. But I knew him as a meme. Like, I knew him as, like, the meme of him going, I don't understand, or something when he can't move. Like, I know all that. I know the gun that comes out of his hip, and it's like a Beretta. Like, I know that. It's not new to me. But I've never actually seen the movie fully. It is an hour and 42 minutes. It does have all the 80s cheese you would expect. That is for sure. I was expecting just a generic, run-of-the-mill 80s action film. That's what I was expecting. What do you mean, oh what? Oh what for what? But in reality, it actually has a bit more to it. It's, the idea that he was killed and kind of brought back to life. Oh no, I never saw it at all. That's why I'm reviewing it. I don't do movies that I've seen in these reviews, sir. These are all fresh reviews from first-time viewings. I know I've seen bits, not enough to formulate anything about the movie, because my dad would watch this type of stuff. Without his helmet? Oh. I don't mind him even without his helmet. I mean, it looks crazy, right? It looks good. Like, it still looks good. Like his face stretched over the metal and stuff. Like, and it didn't, so shiny. It didn't look bad. Even today, when I watched it, it didn't look bad. Like, I couldn't see the makeup seam or anything. Like, it looked good. So that, I think, is great. It is a Paul Verhoeven movie. Verhoeven, who also did Starship Troopers, a personal fave, and Total Recall, a personal fave, amongst other things. And so, I was ready for it. And I will say I enjoyed it. Paul Verhoeven's usually known for his satire or social commentary about certain things. I mean, this movie talks about capitalism and the, like, police industrial complex kind of thing, like the corporations running the police department. And it has a little bit about union rights in there as well, and corporate greed, and what it means to sign your life away to a corporation. Because the cops, their contracts are with the corporation. So that's why when Alex Murphy dies, in his contract is that they get to do what they would like with his body. So then they make him RoboCop and they wipe his memory. So that's part of that whole dystopian type of thing. It's interesting because it's in old Detroit, and it's like ever so slightly more futuristic Detroit. Like there's some extra neon lights and things. Like it's not a futuristic film. It's just slightly more futuristic, like a cyberpunk thing where it's still dirty 80s town, but there's, the guns have a weird futuristic look to them, or the cars are painted a certain way. Like it's an interesting aesthetic. You could probably tell that they wanted to do more, but financially they couldn't. So the version that is on Prime, which is where I watched it, is the less edited version. I was reading on IMDb how some of the things were not in the final film. And I was like, well, I saw those things. So the version that's on Prime has some of the stuff put back into the film. Which would be, like when he gets killed, Alex Murphy, his limbs and stuff get blown off. Like his hand gets blown off, his arm gets blown off. And apparently they cut some of that out of the final film because it was too gory. But it was in it when I watched it, so I got to see all of that stuff, and it looked good. It looked good, I will say there was one part I was disappointed in, where RoboCop uses his data spike to kill somebody. They don't actually show him puncturing the person, which I thought was very interesting, because they show you everything else in the dang movie. It's not that, and I was like, oh. Okay. Prime has all of the RoboCop stuff on it. Like they got RoboCop 1, 2, 3. They have the TV show. At least one of the TV shows, the cartoons. They have the actual live-action TV show that existed. And I feel like I've watched some of that as a kid. So maybe that's what I'm remembering. Maybe not so much the movie. I'm remembering more of the TV show. They have the rebooted one from the 2014 or 19, whenever that came out. They have like the movies that came out later that were awful. They have the mini series that came out that had like 4-hour-long episodes. Like they have like everything RoboCop is on Prime. So I'll probably make my way through the next 2 movies at least. I'd have to look and like categorize sequential order of all the other stuff, because there was like 8 RoboCop things on Prime. So I'd have to look into that. But I'll probably watch the rest of the movies. Peter Weller plays Murphy. Nancy Allen is his partner. I mean, I recognize some people in this from other things. Kurtwood Smith is the dad from That 70s Show. So, I mean, I literally only know him from That 70s Show. So, seeing him in this was interesting. He had some funny lines in there. Would I watch the sequel? If it's streaming, I guess I could choke it down. I'd have to look it up. It's not high on my list to go watch immediately. But I don't have anything written for this because I just watched this today. Sorry, I keep looking at my notes, but there's no notes for RoboCop because I just watched it today. But yeah, it was like I said, a pseudo-futuristic thing that was interesting. But yeah, there's a scene where Kurtwood Smith comes into a house and he says to these women, he says, "Bitches leave," and that's it. That's all he says to them. And they leave, but it was just like, it's so funny. But that's the meme that somebody posted in T1BG's Discord, and I just got it today because I just watched the movie. And I was just like, I know that meme. I know it now because I've seen it. Yay! But yeah, like I said, there's comedy. So I guess you could call it a dark comedy. I did wish that they explored more of his coming to terms with being dead and his coming to terms with dealing with the gravity of that situation of not seeing his wife and his son. I know in the second movie, I think he meets up with them and everything. And I know in the reboot of the franchise, that's like a bigger thing. But in this, you experience it, but it's not like a huge thing. It gives you just enough to kind of make you feel the uncomfortable with the way capitalism is intertwined with life. Yeah, so they only show the wife through his like memories and visions. Like, he never meets up with them. Like he goes to their house, but they don't live there anymore. So they never reunite. I think they reunite in the second one though. Just not in this one. It's still sad, because when you think about it, it's sad. It's just not on the screen to make you sad. You just have to picture it yourself. Like, he's not completely self-aware in this one. He's piecing it together. It's kind of like a mystery within an action movie. Like I said, I thought it was going to be very action-oriented, just action. And there's tons of action. I just thought it was going to be, like, the main focus, like cheesy action stuff. I wasn't expecting a little bit more deeper stuff. But it is Paul Verhoeven, so, he's known for that kind of things. Yeah, Robo-Gremlin. That means he doesn't have a woohoo. So, but yeah, I enjoyed RoboCop enough to make me want to watch the other ones, even though I did hear they get worse. But I also wanted to watch it because I want to play the game, the RoboCop game. It's now on Game Pass, so I can download that and I can play it. It has a 7.6 on IMDb. Play that on stream. I'll try. It's a cult. It's a classic, right? It's a film that people know and love. It's very gory. At least the version I watched is very gory. When one of the board members gets killed by the walking robot, it's just like constant, just blood bursting out of their body. And it's great because you watch movies now and they do CGI blood. And it always bothers me when it's CGI blood coming out of wounds. And I get it because, like, you're not ruining the clothes, I guess. But I think that's one thing that movies before did a better deal of, is just because it's like a vest they wear underneath that has little explosive things that have blood packets in them. So they, when they're doing this, it's really exploding off of them. So it's like, But yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. And he's sitting there like. There is some animation issues. I mean, the walking robot, the ED-209, I think it's called, that is like stop motion animation, and it looks it, you know. Again, this movie is the young age of 38 years. So there is that stop motion stuff. It's not awful. It's very noticeable. But it's not awful. I think it plays into the charm of the film. And you can tell it's coming because like the character will be standing there and like it has the like how new movies have the green screen patina that I talk about. It has that look, and then you see the robot come walking in. I'm like, I knew it was coming because the character looked kind of fuzzy. But yeah, no, I think it works for the movie. I think it works for the charm. There's that whole thing, like that award show with Pee Wee Herman and RoboCop, where Pee Wee Herman is like presenting an award, and then the robot comes out, and then RoboCop comes through the crowd and shoots it. Do you ever see that? It's like at one of the award shows, like Pee Wee like flies up to the roof while the robot comes out, and then RoboCop comes and fights it. It's very cornball. But that's what I was thinking of when I was watching the movie. Was Pee Wee Herman and him and RoboCop. But no, yeah, it's I can see why it's a classic. I can see why people enjoy it a bunch. There's some crazy action in it. There's a crazy amount of blood. I mean, Paul Verhoeven is known for that type of stuff. I know that he likes to really maim people, like Starship Troopers. He does have a co-ed locker room in this movie. So yes, there is male and female nudity in this film. So, points for that. Points for that. You get male buttocks and female buttocks and female tops as well. Yeah, high score incoming. That's all I ask for is a little male booty in my movies, and you will get the highest ratings possible. Thank you. But I thought it was pretty interesting for an 80s movie to have that. I mean, I know 80s movies have butts and stuff like that, but I just thought it was interesting to show the co-ed shower thing, which he brought back in Starship Troopers 10 years later. You know, I thought that was very interesting. Anything else about it? I enjoyed like the score for it. Oh yeah, co-ed for its time, man. There's a lot of cocaine in the scenes there. That was fun. Watching them snort all that. Oh yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure people were like, "What the? Oh my god!" You know, I mean, obviously, topless women is something you see in movies all the time because that's the default. But seeing male booty is usually more risque. So I was like, "Oh, look at that!" The women's stuff was up close and personal. Like the men's stuff was like back behind the characters, while the topless women were in the forefront. So when the camera panned with the character walking past the shower, you saw the guys in the background. But then when it got to the women, the characters walked behind the women. So then you saw, you know, the full-blown women stuff. Yeah. It's the only safe way. Again, it's rated R. It's not for children, so it makes sense. It's no biggie. But yeah, I liked it. I kind of wish I saw it sooner than now, you know. I'll have to keep an eye out on like you saw it as a child. Well, I saw Starship Troopers as a child, so that movie is a lot more graphic than this movie. For sure. This movie does have a lot of the fake commercials, just like Starship Troopers did. The satirical takes on commercials. So, like, the car that everybody wants to get is called the 6000 SUX, or SUX. So, that was funny. It's also where the line, "I'd buy that for $1" comes from, which I know that already. Again, pop culture reference. So I already knew that, because I say that all the time. "I'd buy that for $1." And I wish they would have explained that a little bit more in the movie. And I guess it's a type of TV show or something that they show. Dorky guy. Glasses and buxom ladies. Well, I thought it was fun. "I buy that for $1." Big episode. If I had to rate RoboCop, 1987 RoboCop, what would I rate it? Yeah, now I can play the game. What's funny, because there's a game called Smash TV, and they have that line in there, "I'd buy that for $1" in the game. You're playing like a game where you're trying to survive. Kind of like a Running Man type of thing. It was nominated for Oscars, and I think it even won an Oscar. RoboCop. RoboCop was nominated for 3 Oscars. Best Sound, Best Film Editing, which it didn't win, but it won a Special Achievement Award for Sound Effects Editing. I know, it's an Oscar-nominated film. You wouldn't think that by watching it. You would think, what is this cheesy 80s stuff, you know? But no, it is an Oscar-nominated film. I did like the lore. Like I said, it wasn't just straightforward action movie. Like, there was a lot of background stuff, like office dynamics between some of the characters. There is a scene at the end where somebody dies by going through a window. I'll hold spoiler, Gremlin. This movie's 38 years old. If you haven't seen it yet, I'm sorry. But I'll hold spoiler, Gremlin. At the end, one of the board members gets killed by RoboCop because he's a little weird. He's rubbing his front nub there. He can't attack him because he can't attack any board members. So RoboCop has a secret 4th directive where he can't attack members of the board. But he gets fired by the CEO, so that he's no longer a member of the board. He gets killed and shot through the window. Anyway, but there's another board member. There's a black guy. I don't see him in the cast listing. But he's like excited to see this guy get killed. Like, he's there, like, and after the guy gets killed, he gives a thumbs up to other board members, like, and the camera's like close up on him, so you're supposed to see it. But he's like super excited to see this guy get murdered. I thought it was so strange. I mean, they didn't get along, I guess. They were like partners, but the one guy was always a butthead to him. So I guess he was like happy that this guy was going to be killed. And he's, like I said, he's giving like a thumbs up to everybody in the boardroom. But when that guy dies and goes through the window, it is claymation. It is a claymated character falling out the window. And it does not look good. It may have looked good in 1987. Didn't look great this time. I mean, if you look it up, like when the character's falling, his arms are like out, you know, because he's falling. But his arms are like 80% too long. Like, his arm is just too long out. Like, they overcompensated for like the distortion of like his hands looking towards the camera. Like, see how this looks kind of weird? Like, so they overcompensated for that. So his arms are like these huge, long things. And it looks silly because they're like waving as he falls. And it looks really goofy with how long they are. Again, 80s. I'm not worried about it. I'm not holding it against the film or anything. I generally don't. I try not to hold CGI against and like effects like that against films, even today. I might mention it, you know, but I don't usually harp on it because I know budgets are budgets. I mean, Marvel movies should have a little bit higher since they, you know, they have higher budgets, but generally speaking, I don't harp on it too much. I mention it, but I don't like to harp on it. Alright, let's get a rating here for RoboCop 1987. Put that in here as well. RoboCop. I enjoyed it. It's not the best paced film, to be honest, because of the slowness of like the background stuff. That one, VHS. Oh God, there's a commercial for it on VHS. What is this commercial for? I have no idea what this commercial's for. It's so bizarre. Is it for Call of Duty? I bet you it's for Call of Duty. It's a really long commercial. I don't know. I can't. Wait, is that Michael Phelps? Yeah, it's Michael Phelps. This has to be for Call of Duty. Oh yeah, that's the other guy from Righteous Gemstones. There's a soldier in all of us. Call of Duty, Infinite Warfare. Infinite Warfare? Why is it showing me old commercials? Infinite Warfare is like a decade ago. That's no problem, Prince. I'm about to wrap up anyway. Rating for RoboCop. Rating for RoboCop. I'm going to give it a 7.5 to 8, probably more to 7.5, because it has a nostalgia factor to it, but it is missing a bit more depth than once I noticed where it was going, I kind of wanted more depth to the character. The next movie might have more of that. They explore the relationship between him and his family, so we'll see. But yeah, so that's going to be it for today's video. We did Masculinity versus Femininity here, guys, with Megan 2, which we rated at 7.5. The Craft, which we rated at an 8. F1 the movie, which we rated at a 6.5. And RoboCop that we rated at 7.5 to 8. So it looks like the ladies have it here. Just slightly, though. Just slightly. It's not their fault. F1 has a generic story. You know, it's not their fault. But yeah, this was our 15th YouTube Live, which means over a year of YouTube Lives. Mother puss bucket. Yeah. Obviously, it was already over a year, but yeah, that's pretty exciting stuff to have a lot of YouTube lives. They're never usually successful. We had a lot more views in the beginning. I think that's when they start putting in people's feeds. Because we actually hit like 14 concurrent viewers there within the first 10 minutes of the video. So that was nice. I don't think we got any subs or anything, which is unfortunate, but hey, what are you going to do? But yeah, that's going to be it for tonight. I will be back this week with some more little Division on Saturday on Twitch. I'm not sure what we're doing on Friday. I could do Sleeping Dogs. I've been really digging Marvel Rivals though. But we'll play it by ear because I might have a birthday party to go to this weekend. So we shall see. I'll get these reviews on IMDb ASAP probably tomorrow. Oh damn! And I definitely need to figure out what next week's video is going to be. It's going to be a bargain bin movie. We'll have to see what's in the bargain bin. And yeah, that's going to be it. So thanks for watching, guys. And the VOD will be up with the timestamps hopefully tomorrow. Thanks for watching, and we will see you again soon. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Seriously. Goodbye. Bye.